Hi, the textile industry has a quite bad environmental footprint. And today I will have a discussion with Milda, that was a founder of Vinted, and they have found a way, how can we use our textiles more before they need to be scrapped? This is not going totally into circular economy, but it's a good contributor to reaching in that direction. So please enjoy the discussion. I hope you will find some interesting topics, also about how it is to be an entrepreneur and what should be done in order to be successful in that area. Welcome, Milda.
Hello.
Great pleasure to have you here. One of the real entrepreneurs in the Baltics that have built a really big business, right? Can you tell me a little bit about Vinted, the business model and background of it, so our listeners can understand what are you doing, how you provide value to the market?
Okay. So Vinted is a second-hand peer-to-peer platform for people to sell stuff that they don't use anymore. And it's not about all stuff that you want. It's more about started with clothing, just clothing. Then we expanded a little bit more into like fashion area. So we expanded our vertical of things that you can sell. And so that's the value I think that we offer to our members. So it's like, you can upload most of the stuff that you don't like and you don't wear anymore. And someone like you, the person will buy. And now we are like in 20 markets in total, mostly Europe. But yeah, with more than 100 million members abroad.
100 million members. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. And those 100 million members, do you know, I mean, what are the key reasons why there are members? I can understand, of course, if you have some, like I have also some old stuff in the wardrobe that if I would have been a member, I would have sold them, right? but there are probably other reasons as well. I think about sustainability trends and so on. What are the key drivers of the market?
I would say there are like two things. Like Vinted now exists for 15 years in the market. So I think that there are quite a few reasons why Vinted got so popular. Because at the beginning, I don't think it was a sustainability issue. At the beginning, like it was 2008 when we launched, and it was more, well, I'm the student. I want to, to look like nice, to change my clothing, my outfit every time, but I don't have so much money. But at the same time, I want to earn some money from my closet because I wear sometimes several times, and I'm get bored. So that's why I want to offer to the market to someone else. And I think that one of the reasons why it got so popular because like for younger audience at that time, it was very like useful product to earn some money, and at the same time you have very limited space in your closet, so you can always you still can look every time different, but with less clothing, because you always just kind of circulation of clothing market. So I think this is the reason, and it still stays very important reason, because we do lots of researches as well, and we ask people, our members. But it's very important, more and more, like every year you could see like trend of answers from our members why they're using secondhand. So it's sustainability issues, though I'm very like conscious about saying, because we are like, I would say that we help to consume in a more meaningful way. But it's still consumption, so it's like you cannot say it's zero consumption. So I would say that for people it's like it's a wise choice. Like okay, I still want to consume, because I've grown up in such a society where like lots of advertisements, lots of people talk about you need to look different, you need to express yourself in how you look and so on. So, we are all like in our blood, I guess. It's about, I want to consume. Though you don't want to consume, but somehow you still want to consume in a way. So I think that for people, Vinted is a very nice choice because you consume in a much more meaningful way, because you just buy secondhand, not firsthand, or you can reduce amount of firsthand and go to secondhand, and just do shoes that they can have. Let's say I have 4 kids, and the auto chair that we have, that you put in the car, the first auto chair, so it's like for 6 months only.
Right.
So I bought it from Vinted, and that girl, she said, oh, two of kids of mine, they used it. So I have 4, so it's like 6 kids already use that car or this car chair. But at the same time, in between, while I was pregnant and still not having baby, those like 1 to 4 kids, I was borrowing to one neighbor, to my sister, and so on. So it's like we counted that auto chair has like about 8, 9 kids now, and now it's again to my sister. So now it's like it's very nice feeling and like of sustainability that that the same chair still looks perfect, and you would say it's almost new, because usually like those babies like up to 2 or 3 months, they just don't consume anything. It's like they just sit and that's it. So no, this actually really motivates to use, because that you don't, instead of buying first hand, you can buy second hand.
That with the auto chairs was a very good example, because we were cleaning out the attic a year ago maybe, and then we actually found I have 3 kids. We found our kind of old, this one for kind of the up to 6 months old. And then, but this looks kind of brand new. But then you realize that, hang on, it's some kind of regulation, so they only last for 5 or 10 years due to plastic. So we actually had to throw it away. Okay. And instead, of course, I should have sold it after the last kid. And so now it was, and I felt really bad throwing away something that I think is kind of almost like brand new. So.
And I think that for our society, it's a bit different than, let's say, I look to my grandmother. So she, if you have 1 pair of shoes, so you wear it till it's dead, like because usually they didn't have such an assortment like as you, or money or assortment, maybe more products you didn't have around. Like I don't imagine my grandmother having like 10 pair of shoes, like winter shoes, and and like our days. So we have, what I'm gonna wear today? What is my mood today? Should I wear sneakers, or should I wear like boots or something, or sandals? So now you have like shoes for all moods, and I guess in our society it's like you just usually don't wear things not because they're just not wearable anymore, but mostly because I got bored, or my style has changed, or something. So it's completely different, like, and mindset, but also like the consumption level that we have like in our days. But I guess everyone has the same.
Well, I guess there is very much data you have on your members then, or this 100 million. I mean, do you see any trends there? Is it that some people are mainly kind of sellers because they buy in the first-hand market, and some people are mainly kind of buyers because they buy in the second-hand market and use stuff?
It's a mixture.
Or is it a big chunk in between with people that are kind of both buying and selling? Or
it's whatever you name it, you're gonna find at Vinted. Okay, so it's like there are many customer segments, like in segmentation at Vinted. There are people who only buy. Just buy. There are people who only sell, or there are like big chunk of people who are doing both. And let's say people who have more, I would say, expensive items, usually they're sellers, not necessarily buyers. But what we see, like with the time, the segment is also changing. So the people who used to sell but not to buy, they also start buying, because it seems, well, for me, it's like, it's like sometimes I joke, like, Vinted became like a virus. Like, if you said like, I'm not buying secondhand, because, I guess it's from Soviet Union countries, it's like more like secondhand has some, still has some stigma about, that you buy secondhand because maybe you don't have money or something. So now it's completely like opposite. So usually, like, the more money you have, the more educated you are. So the more you are into secondhand fashion, because if you have sustainability, well, like some issues or some that you want to solve, like by buying like more mindful and meaningful. So, but yes, that we see, so that people who, in a way, I have lots of friends, and they're my indication of people, how our segment is changing. So before, like, I would say like it's more about for students, like 18 to 23, 25. But with the time, the aging is getting bigger, because it's also the market itself is getting ready. But the secondhand as a trend is also expanding. It's like booming, like insane everywhere. And I guess that I have friends who said, I would never buy secondhand. Now you see, like, and it used to tell like that maybe 7 years ago. So now you see, I uploaded the first item and I bought something. So now, and you see like more and more people. And now in my circle, I don't know, people who don't buy or sell secondhand. Like before, like 10 years ago, I could easily find such people, easily. Now it's like, you need to look like where are those people who don't buy and sell secondhand.
Could it be a difference between males and females here? Just looking in my family, then I'm probably a late adopter. Maybe I have some things that I've inherited, but apart from that, have I bought really secondhand? Maybe a few stuff. But if I look on my children or even my wife, actually this is coming, and it's quite much that they are into it. And for this, not the lack of money, but more for a better conscious and vital, and the stuff looks brand new and it's very nice and so on. So why not?
Yeah, and actually Germany was the one who changed our opinion about guys. Germany was our second market. So we launched in 2008 in Lithuania and 2009 or 10 in Germany, something like that. So it was 1 or 1.5 years difference. And then we said, like, it's only for girls and just to buy and sell. And then we started to receive like emails from guys, like what are you doing? Do you think we don't want to buy as well? Because and they said like to us, all generations are gone, so now guys also want to look nice, and they want to have not 2 pair of shoes, but maybe 6 pair of shoes. So it's a bit different, and the mindset that guys also buy a lot. It's like for us it was wow, boosted. Like it's like we don't have this stigma as well, because we had stigma about secondhand, but like other people, maybe as me myself, I didn't have this. But I had a stigma about guys that they don't buy secondhand, or they don't buy so much clothing. But now I would say it's totally different. Well, it's still maybe not that equal, but still, they are like.
So percentage-wise in memberships, how many are guys?
I don't have this percentage
ladies?
now, but like 7 years ago, 8 years ago, it was. I don't remember exactly, but it was about 70% of girls for sure.
Okay.
But with our paternity, like
paternity,
yes, then we introduced kids section, so guys also increased because who buys the stroller? A guy usually. So it's like there are some. So as I said, there are like different segmentation and user behaviors there. So.
You mentioned that Germany was your second market, and that's a quite big market. I mean, how has it been going with the launch now in different markets? Any reflections or the differences between the markets to get members along? Issues or positive surprises?
So just to be clear, the first 3 markets, so it's Lithuania, Germany, and Czech Republic, they were by accident. All 3 happened or in a party or just like, do you want to do that? Yeah, I want. And this is how it was just like very spontaneous decisions, and it wasn't just any kind of the business. It was a hobby project. Other markets, they were much more professional, and actually the 4th market, I guess it was 4th and 5th, it was Poland and France. So it was the first 2 markets. Then we said our investors, Axel Partners, VC, came to us and said, okay, those 3 markets, nice that you entered, but can you prove that you can do this as a professional for once? So, just for us to see that, you can do this. So Poland and France was our enter as a professional business people. So, and actually it succeeded pretty well. Of course, we had to embellish our process of entering to new markets. So at the beginning, it was quite a big thing for us to launch new markets, and because you do lots of experiments, and because you don't know what works, what not. Because Lithuania, Germany, and Czech Republic, it was word of mouth, mostly word of mouth. I guess Germany, the first 2 million members, free of charge. Like Lithuania, all the time, free of charge. Everything what we got. Czech Republic, I don't remember till which count we started to use paid ads, but till then it was I don't know. I'm just don't want to lie, but it was like a big portion of members who also came free of charge. Just word of mouth, so we didn't pay anything.
The best sales force to have happy clients that recommend you to other.
So, and in Germany, as I said, so I don't remember exactly. I think that we launched in 2009, and then it took about 1 year, just 1 year, maybe 8 months or so, for Germany to overtake Lithuania. Of course, Germany is much bigger, but I mean that the movement and that word of mouth speed got like insane. We didn't even have to wait for, I don't know, 5 or 6 years or 7, 10 years to get big. So for us, it was like 1.5 years, and it was maybe 2. We were like really big then. So, and just word of mouth.
It seems to be a very fruitful way to grow your business by funny business to being at late night parties. I was about to say, right?
I always
that's
go
when it
to
happens.
Parties, talk to people, express your ideas, share your ideas. So it really helps. I still do that, and it really helps. So, because just maybe off topic, but I'm now also trying to thinking about new startup in edtech, and then again, not in the party. But it was, you just go and you share you tell about your startup, what you want to do, what problem you want to solve. And you see like, oh, you need to talk to this person. Okay, then I call to that person. Now that person is my partner. And it's like, you just need to share. And some people will see the connection and they're gonna, it's like a Tinder match. Like they're gonna connect with the right people. You just don't need to hide the information and just share.
But this about the entrepreneurship is very interesting. I mean, can anyone be an entrepreneur?
Who?
Yes, can anyone be that? Just being open with information and going at late night parties and discussing things and so on. Or
so it's just one of the ways.
What does it take to become a good entrepreneur?
I think that there are different pictures and profiles of people, of entrepreneurs. Let's say personally, I hate networking. Like I hate those events that you're gonna meet and you need to in 5 minutes or 4 minutes to pitch yourself, your business and so on, and okay, next, and you go to look for people businesses who are useful for you. So like if I can skip, and I usually skip, like 99% of those events, I just don't go there. So an official entrepreneur should do that. So it depends. I guess that each person has his or her superpower, and someone's is just going, sharing, spreading ideas, also inviting people to join and to get motivated and so on. There is also some other people who are very good in building strategies and finance. It's also very important. There are other people who are very good in just super geeks, but they're into product and they're very into deep knowledge, but they're super I don't know, introverts, let's say. Let's say, and they are not. They would hate to go to the parties and talk and spreading the news about their product. So I think that's a combination. But that's why I don't believe in solo travelers in this case. So I think that if you want to have successful business, and I mean growing business, not boutique business, so you need to have combinations of several skills or profiles of entrepreneurs. Of course, it's sometimes very challenging because sometimes ego might not match. So it's a dance. Like you need to look towards the good dance happens. So it's also lots of feeling about who can work together, who cannot work together. So it's a combination.
And also my reflection about entrepreneurship is when working in a large organization, you have a lot of resources. You want to find out something, you can reach out and you'll probably find it even within your organization. But as an entrepreneur, at least in the beginning, you're pretty alone. So you need to network, cooperate, share information, get some information, put things together and so on and so on, because you have very limited resources. Yes. So I think this openness is very important in order to find the ways forward and get different qualities.
And I guess risk takers as well. It's also one of the profiles that is very important because so it's about being open for sure. Although it's for me, it's still in any business. I think so. If you want to stay competitive, just one of the reasons. If you want to stay competitive, you need to stay open, because I guess it's the same with getting with the age. Like person with the age, it's I don't know. At least I see this thing that they are get more narrow thinkers instead of being more open-minded, because with the time you have more experience. So it means I know this way, and you don't tell me because I have this experience, although you, young person, don't tell me, and you just happen to be like this. But at the same time, you don't see, nice, good ideas. And sometimes with that narrow thinking, you can reach something, but at some time, more competitive like people and more with people with more open ideas gonna come, and you're gonna feel like then you are 8, you're gonna see, oh, I got old and I'm not flexible anymore. So it's the same for people, same for companies, I guess. If you're not open, you will, don't want to say die, but you will not be competitive.
No, you will not succeed in the long run.
Yeah. So.
Have you felt any difference in terms of being female versus male entrepreneur? Now you have been kind of two partners when virtually from the beginning, right?
Yeah.
When you started it. So, but I mean, there are pretty much statistics, very much unfortunately, that shows that it's tougher for female entrepreneurs. It's tougher to raise that equity you need. It's tougher to get financing, and compared to males, at least in many parts of the world. But any reflections from your side on that?
I don't have that experience, but for many reasons. One of the reasons because 50%, then we launched, so 50% of the company was female, 50% male. So we had this diversity, and if you go to to investors or somewhere else, so everyone sees both sides. So if that would be very like female only, so I don't know. I don't have this experience, for me it's very hard to share. But also like last week, Facebook organized the event in Vilnius, and they invited just female, and they were talking about this topic that it's very difficult for girls to raise capital and so on, and to run business and to have the certain reputation in the market. But at the same time, I was thinking for some industries, it's I guess it's more friendlier. Let's say startups and IT. I don't know. I see lots of startup girls who are developing their ideas. It's still not the thing that it's not like 50%. I assume that there are other reasons why the percentage is so low. So I think that if we look to our childhood, how we were raised, and I guess it's not that women are not capable to do something, but it's more about how from the early days we were taught, like take care of your Barbie girl or something, just be gentle, just be so I think that it's everything. And while generations needs to change, and for us now is I guess the ball is in our hands, how we are going to raise our kids. Are we going to tell to our girls oh, you shouldn't sit like a boy? Well, you can if you want, but I heard this, you can't do this, because it's not girls. So I had this rule as well. But I guess that more and more modern parents, they don't think about this. Or you're interested in Lego, you're interested in science. Oh, we should look for for some after school classes for you. And before it was, oh, engineering is just for boys, So I guess it's very so much. The roots are in our child, in early days, and so that's why we have the fact that not so many girls they are going to tech sector.
I have another theory as well when it comes to this entrepreneurship. I can try it on you, as you can say, reasonable or not. Then I think it has also actually to do with risk taking, because when even we can see it in statistics that we've done in the bank when it comes to how you use your money. Women are clearly more I prefer to have it on kind of a term deposit, and if guys, then it's a preference to invest in equities or even ETFs and so on. So there is clearly a difference in willingness to take risks. And if you want to be a successful entrepreneur, I think you must want to take risks, right? Yeah. And I think, and we hear about these guys and girls that have been very successful in that one. But of course, for every guy that has been successful, it's a lot that have failed as well, right? But that we don't hear that much about it. So I think, couldn't that be because a driver of this entrepreneurship?
But I also believe that it can come from early days. Of course, there are some human being profiles I mean, profiles that are like by nature more like self risk averse or not. But I think it also comes from also early days because, you need to be like, kind of future mother. You need to, be like...
I have a responsibility for 20 years if I have a child.
So I think we can fix a big part of this because I think that's also about self-confidence. Because if you feel self-confident, whatever will happen, I will solve this. And girls usually don't have this. They choose like more controlled environment. That's why they are not so much into risk. Even me, my personally, I don't feel myself that I'm avoiding risks, and I'm on average I'm very like tolerant to risk. But then you look to my guys like in the company, I was like, okay, comparing to them, I'm super conservative, and I'm like, so for them it's like, oh, let's try, we're gonna see this how it works. So I think that there is that difference, but I still think that there are some early days might have some. I think that might have lots of impact.
How was it to bring in the first investor? You said it was Axel Partners, right?
Not exactly. It was business angel first.
Right,
Mantas. So he came 3 years after Vinted was launched, and he came to us and said that I would like to invest and let's go abroad. Abroad. So we already had free markets, but let's go even more. And so he was the first business angel. So, but with business angels, so it's kind of like physical person, like it's just like not the VC or something, and it was just so Mantas joined, and he stayed for full time for pretty long. He just left. Took a step back. It's very hard to step back from Vinted because you still need to spend some time. Well, not you need, but you want to spend some time there. But he stepped back like 2 years ago or something. So, so he was the first. And then like real international VC that came, so it was Axel Partners.
That's what I meant. And how did that feel? I mean, it's a different feeling to get an international VC.
I think that it's a big thing to get international, but at the same time to get such partner as Axel Partners, because at the beginning they called us and they said, "Oh, we want to meet you." And we said, okay, maybe you can come, if you want, you can come to Vilnius. And they said yes. And we didn't have that game. We didn't know the game before how it works. Because if they fly from London or so from somewhere to kind of some Vilnius where there's zero ecosystem of startups, so it means something. Like now we know that. Before we said like, sorry, we are like very busy, like because we're just developing the product, and if you want, you can come and we just can talk. And they flew. So for us, it was like the big thing. And only then they said, okay, we are coming. Then we started to Google who they are.
Okay.
And it was, oh my God, they invested into Facebook, Angry Birds, Spotify, an early stage. So it means that they they have that skill to discover very early stage of like potential unicorns. And so, and then we got nervous. And we said, oh, they are coming and this is who they are. So but it was nice experience because, we were like, it was very uplifting because we're like doing what you love and it's growing. You kind of kind of successful, of course, exhausted at the same time, but it's very like, really like you see that it's growing. Everything you do, it's like ups. It increases your numbers up. Okay, not everything, but most of the things. And then someone else from abroad, they see you. I guess that. So like we were like small company in Lithuania. We were like people, I don't know, 8 people or 9 people. Like we were
at that time.
yeah.
Wow, okay.
So up to 10, I guess. So it's so we were a super small company, and for the first 3 years we were just 2 of us, and actually 0 full-time employees because we were like volunteers and that's it. So and for us it was. And exciting, but at the same time very challenging because it's not every day you get 5 million euros in your bank account, and usually you get that enter new markets as a professional, and don't waste too much time. Don't waste like 10 years or so. Just learn like everything in 1.5, maybe 2 years, and that's it. So it's like kind of very exciting, but at the same time very like scary because you've never done that before. So none of us.
What is the most stressful of being an entrepreneur? I mean, the company or the idea is your baby, right?
Yeah.
And then the company becomes your baby, and then you have employees that you become responsible for, and then you bring in investors that are responsible for their money as well. Or how do you? What has kept you awake at night?
So, so I think that feeling that, at the beginning it was just a game, like you do, well, it's I mean, by saying a game, so it means I want to say that, I want, it's some kind of my hobby experience that if I want, I can sit at the computer and work with something on Vinted. And if I got bored, so I can say, okay, sorry, I need a break. I need 2 weeks off, and I'm not even taking care of Vinted, some emails or something. So I was able to allow this before, and then started to to do this as a business. So it's like for me, but you can say that what was the most challenging as a company and as a person. So as a person, for me, it was really a big challenge, like conversion from volunteer like activity to business.
Okay.
Because it's in business that is growing super fast, so it means that you also need to grow super fast. And Vinted was launched when I was 21. So what does it mean? Like zero business experience, not business experience, working experience, zero working experience. So I just don't have that responsibility, because for me, it's everywhere. I still feel like it's a game. I like to play. I don't want to push myself. And suddenly it's like everything is opposite. And strategy, budget, discipline, like responsibility, everything comes like at once. So, and you see that, try to grow, and you're growing, but always you feel that you're not growing enough, because that Vinted is growing much faster. You don't know what's happening, but it's like booming all the time. And it seems like you can be like at certain time, I can be proud of learning this and this. Like 6 months ago, I wouldn't imagine doing this. But at the same time, you see that Vinted overgrew like you like 5 times even more, and I need to go and catch up again. So it's because the team got bigger. It was maybe 50, maybe 60 people. I don't remember exactly, but it was like, so, and you see that what works for a company with 5 people, where, there's no communication channels needed, nothing. And then there's like 60 people, and you need to have processes. They needs to be established there, because it's like it doesn't work anymore if you just go spread the word of mouth in the company and everyone knows what's happening. So, or at least they sit and wait for you, like for us to to come with a strategy, with a plan, and so on. So this is a responsibility, and I guess that was, for me, it was quite a challenge. The same for company, it was a challenge also, like how, because you've never done that before. So spend 5 million wisely and to show results. Never done that. Enter new markets, like never done that. Okay, new markets in a professional way. So never done that. Hire people abroad, like launch offices in different areas, in let's say Paris, Warsaw, and so on. So never done that. So and so it was like all first times were like just at that time mostly. So it's but sometimes it's easier than you are a team. So someone and then you brainstorm together, you share the same issues, problems, and so on, and you know someone got stuck, someone else is like much more motivated, then the opposite happens, then someone gets tired, but then someone faces now is someone else is like much more motivated, so can help you, and so on. So it's like with a team it's much easier. So,
and also I guess over time, when you're not in that pure startup phase, you can bring in knowledge, experience, and people. And I think now you have a very international workforce in your company, which of course is helping in this international setting. And you don't have that. You're very established now.
And I think that our brand now speaks for itself. Because, I don't know, 7 years ago, it was pretty hard for us to attract people who are from London, from Berlin. Would you like to move to Vilnius? I was like, no. It was always, and you'll find really nice people, and and there's a match in everything, in values and culture, and like the skill set that we need. And then they found out that, I need to move to Vilnius because headquarters are there. And people who are like senior, they want to be where product is. I mean, where product is created, where top management sits. So it means that if you sit somewhere in London, but the headquarters are here, so like it's, well, you don't feel that you're contributing as much as you can. So serious people usually they don't want that distinguished. And now it's totally the opposite, because now it's like I talked with one HR person, and he said, you know, like 10 years ago to hire someone, it was such a disaster. We needed to invite for dinner, like no, maybe make 5 dinners, and then, you know, just to convince step by step. And I'm not speaking about banks and some big audit companies and so on, because they would say, no, you know, I have kids, I'm not going to work in some startups. And now it's totally the opposite. They call us, they just, people who, we have a very big market who are also returning to Lithuania, or some people like also from London who say, okay, I don't mind to move to Vilnius. And they're coming and they're working here. So, and one guy from marketing team, Eddie, so he even bought the apartment in Vilnius. He said, oh, Vilnius is so perfect. So, you know, and of course, Vilnius has changed a lot. So, because like 15 years ago, there was like no ecosystem, like, you know, and if you do biking or surfing, it was like kind of, oh, stranger. And now it's like everyone is biking. And, you know, it's like 15 years, like, so it was a big change in the city itself. At the same time, in the ecosystem of startups, and in business like environment, and the mentality, like it's, I would say it's much more modern, much more open, risk-taking as well. So
I mean, I did some trying out myself a little bit, actually checking on business suits. Seemed that I found very many sellers in Poland, but then I realized I was on the Lithuanian site and not the Swedish one. I don't know if that kind of steers it, but anyway.
Yeah.
But how to bridge this gap in terms of what I buy? Is it actually that nice that it look like in the picture? Because it's a little bit of an information gap here between the buyer and the seller. And how do you handle that one?
Now I think that, well, it's always the issue, but if you would ask me now, I would say now we don't have that big issue that we used to have like 12 years ago, because 12 years ago, so it was, you know, you buy online, so it was new in Germany. Well, usually people used to buy firsthand, not so much secondhand. Okay, eBay existed and so on, but, you know, clothing and so on, so it's usually like, you know, it's not very common. And so you don't have any reputation, no feedback system or something. So it was, at the beginning, it was very hard for people. And at least in Vilnius, what we've seen, people started to meet in person, like live. So, oh, let's meet at that cafe, and let's, I'm gonna give you money or something. So it started like that, but with the time, people got much more busy, and they don't want to meet anymore. So they just want to ship stuff, even they're like, no, from the same city. But I guess that platforms like Vinted also, they need to work on that reputation building system, so feedback system. And then we saw the big difference. Then we started, you know, and were more buyers and sellers who had like, you know, more and more feedback from other, like reviews from other members. And then at one point, then you have enough, you create that, you know, safety feeling that, okay, I read reviews, I see that it's like valuable person, and I can, you know, I can trust that person, and then it's okay. So it worked a lot, but at the same time, we have that, you know, our payment system that also like makes it kind of insurance. Like, you know, if you got really like bad, I don't know, you got completely different from the pictures, so we refund you, we give you money back. But
and that's Vinted paying that one, or is it?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, Vinted is paying. But at the same time, so this is like Vinted side, like platform side, but at the same time, I would say, I see that members themselves, they got very kind of aware of their reputation as well. So even like, let's say sometimes because I do buy and sell at Vinted a lot. So sometimes I get something and I'm not very happy about that. And I just write to that member and say, oh, I can make a discount or something, like, you know, just, you know, just, or you can like, you know, give me back, and I'll just free shipping. Like, so they also are motivated not to get negative feedback, because they understand that reputation and that review system is very important. Otherwise, like, you know, in our algorithms, you get down if you get like, you know, like it's if you don't have good reputation, Like, maybe you will be not that visible in a catalog anymore. So, so everyone is very like, at the same time, if you're not responsive, like a member writes you a question and you don't answer. So you're gonna see that your items will be not that visible. But if you just answer as soon as possible, it always happens to me. Like, if I answer, I see that my items are boosted and other people buy from other stuff from my catalog. So it's about reputation and about being good member.
So it's too little money for each deal for someone to do a fraud kind of, or and thereby it's more the reputation because I want to be able to come back. And then you have an extra service if I want to buy some more high-end product, I understand as well, right?
Yeah, but I'm not at the moment. I'm not so familiar at the moment.
Okay,
so
okay,
just,
we drop that
yeah.
one then.
Yeah.
But if we polish on the crystal ball, then look a little bit kind of on the crystal ball and look some 10 years ahead,
okay.
or
Okay.
I mean, how Vinted has a vision that we should think kind of secondhand first, right? That's the first choice. Creating, if not a total circular economy, but anyway, also using the products, and we know the environmental footprint of the clothing industry, which is quite bad. So it's a really good step towards taking a less environmental footprint from the industry, thinking secondhand first.
Yeah.
Where will we be in 10 years' time of that one? And where will Vinted be in that one? Do you have any kind of feeling for how big will the secondhand market be? How big can it grow?
I'm not able to tell you in numbers, but we see in behavior. I see a big shift in not users, but in people's mindset in general, in all markets. Okay, I mean all markets. So it's Europe, the US, I mean Western world. So we see that shift, sustainability shift that now makes like sustainability issues drives their decisions to choose secondhand. So, and I think that's also what happens. It's not about the secondhand fashion industry market. It's also about other secondhand, like table. Like, I'm not using this anymore. Can I sell it? And there are more and more products that create the kind of new markets that they appear to sell any kind of secondhand that you have. So I guess it's also like the perception and the mindset of people who never thought about selling secondhand. It's getting bigger. So and like, I mean, it's the shift just I guess switched to that people buy secondhand more often. I get, okay, in the other way, I think that there are much more people who buy secondhand or bought at least once or twice, like in the last 1 year. There are much more than people who never bought secondhand. So I guess the shift also is happening. So I think that it's it's a mainstream thing, and I think that it will be like in terms of that we have not only fashion things but also furniture things, even constructions now. They are like very booming in this area, like sports inventory and everything. They are kind of making combination for user to be super convenient to sell and buy secondhand, because they tailor the platforms each for different things, and for users it's like it's no-brainer to use it because it's everywhere. It's so easy and everyone talks about that. So
does it mean that Vinted, maybe in 10 years' time, you will find a lot of different products? It will be like Amazon, starting with books, and I can buy anything there? Or do you, what do you want? Do you think you should stick to the clothing part, or with 100 million users?
Let's talk in 1 year. So
let's talk in 1 year.
Okay.
then we will see what happens.
Yeah, what will happen.
Oh, great. Any advice you would like to give to young entrepreneurial person that want to start the company, for them to think about what's the 1, 2, 3 top things to give us an advice to these persons that I think is the future of our economies?
Okay, so for me it's like as I said, so I'm thinking about quite ad tech startup right now, and we're like launching in this May.
Yeah.
So for me it also was like it's very easy to create to repeat. Okay, actually not easy to repeat the same story because it was less of like accidental things than Vinted was launched. So, and then you create the second startup, you see, okay, now I realize, okay, each creation is different. Like it doesn't have the same path, but there are some rules that, or like kind of mindset that helps me a lot. And one mindset that for me is the most important, now we're launching in May and just MVP, and that's it. And I said, we don't even have entity. It's like we don't even have name, nothing. We don't have it, but we have product. Well, in May we're gonna have that product and team, and that's it. So, but the thing is that for me the key advice would be don't try to build like cosmic ship or something like something perfect that's gonna work and so on. I would say create something, throw to the market, get feedback, and then after that feedback, make some embellishments, and then throw again. Just do it in sprints, iterate. So, and it helps for me like also to keep motivated, because I don't need to wait like 1 year to get launched, to have a launched product or something. Well, for me it's enough like 2 months or so, and I just have a product, and I'm gonna get feedback. So so I think that this one for me is like personally for me it works so well. And usually, like and other people in our team, they are much more not much, but some more have more concerns, and they say, and I say, okay, let's say some problems that are not so nice to have, and if you're gonna have them, we're gonna solve them like in few months, and that's it. So or like no, we don't know our problems, so we need to have kind of direction. It's a must and vision, but we don't need to to be strict like that. In 1 year or 2 years, we need to make a perfect product, and just I would say iterate, sprint, react to feedback, do some embellishments, or fail fast.
Is it secret what the new company will do?
At Tech, so we are creating products, interactive products for teachers, how to teach mathematics, because we have a big issue with mathematics in our schools. And we have chosen public schools, not private schools, because private schools, they're okay, but public schools, they have some issues, not some, a lot. So we create interactive tools to explain the theory of mathematics in a more engaging way for kids.
Great. So that's a very good need for that one, and it will help the whole society.
Yes, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Very much good luck with that. I'm very convinced you will succeed with that idea as well. Thank you very much.